Welcome back, everybody, to Eclat Leaders Spotlight Series. This time, my guest is Marianela Collado. She is the CEO and co-owner of Tobias Financial Advisors and my trusted friend. Marianela is a senior wealth advisor with over 20 years of experience in tax and financial planning. She has been featured, quoted, and published by several financial media outlets. She's a frequent speaker in matters of financial planning for high net worth individuals and has been recognized by many professional awards. That's not the only thing. She is a mother of 3 kids. She has gotten the Mother of the Year award in 2021 on behalf of Healthy Mother, Healthy Babies. I am honored to interview Marianela for Eclat series, and I hope her charisma and inspiring stories make a positive impact in your lives as well as mine. Thank you and enjoy the conversation. All right. Thank you so much, Marianela, for joining me today and being my leader in the spotlight. I wanted to do this for a long time. I'm glad you accepted it. And like you know, I always told you, meeting you in 2017 has been a blessing. I have enjoyed our conversations and your story. So today I want more people to know about you, and hopefully this could be a space for you to do that.
Thank you, Mariana, so much for having me. Likewise, I've enjoyed your friendship and our conversation, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So one of the things that I always wonder is how are powerful, caring women like you become these leaders in the world, having family, husband, being a CEO. So tell me a little bit about what made you the person you are today.
So, I think when I think back to, what made me somewhat fearless, I think as women, we tend to have this belief that we have to know everything 100% before we dive in. And I think growing up in a house with 3 older brothers, I quickly had to adapt that mentality that if that's something they can do, I can do it too. So I would say it has a lot to do with my upbringing, growing up with 3 older brothers, the only girl, the youngest to boot. So I think that kind of molded me, genetically. It kind of just made me this kind of fearless person that had to just, try to do whatever these boys can do in a Spanish household. I think that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, I remember once you told me that your mom would not allow you to do certain things you wanted to do because you were not a boy. Can you tell us a little bit of any story about that?
Yeah, and it was simple things. And like looking back, and maybe at the moment I didn't think it was such a big deal, but looking back, it was such a huge double standard. These boys could go out by themselves or with friends. I couldn't because I was a girl. I remember as if it was yesterday, I was in my room and my mom was having this conversation with her dad, and they're from, as I mentioned, they're Dominican. And I hear her father, so my grandfather, telling her, why are you even wasting time sending her to college? Because, she'll just get married and that's it. That's her future. And I was so appalled by that. So these little snippets of conversations and the messaging that I was getting made me think I need to prove them wrong. So that was a big reason why I had to keep up with the boys.
I wanted to ask you about the moment that you talked to Ben, Tobias, the founder. I remember that I read in another interview you did that he called you to be part of the succession plan. Was that something that made you make the decision? What was the thinking process you did to make the decisions to join Ben at that time?
I met my now partner, Matt Sainholz. I met him at an estate planning meeting, and he and I just really hit it off, just talking shop. And when they invited me to lunch, because apparently I made an impression on them, the idea is that I would come to Tobias Financial Advisors and I would be part of the succession plan. And I thought, me at a wealth management firm, I'm the tax planner, I'm the tax wizard. But the more I learned about what he was doing, what his vision was, who he was, what clients he was servicing, I started getting really excited because not that I wasn't excited with the work I did, but when you work with the ultra high net worth, folks who have a net worth of $100 million and up, not that the planning didn't matter, it did, but I wasn't moving the needle enough. Like, yeah, there was impact, but how much impact in the grand scheme of things? Whereas the more I learned about our client base and what he was doing, how he was doing the work he was doing, I thought to myself, wow, I can come here and really create something magical, because with my background, what I do for these clients, it's almost like now my clients get the benefit of all the tools and strategies that these, ultra wealthy folks are implementing in order to continue to grow their wealth. And we literally see the needle move.
And it feels that it also, you found your higher purpose, like your higher purpose can be, creating and doing this for your clients feels better for you than before.
Exactly. It's that impact and that relationship that I'm able to have with all of my clients. Just knowing that I bring them peace of mind. And, now we're at a time where there's a lot of market volatility. And just hearing clients say, yeah, I know the headlines are really alarming. And, every day it's, we've reached bottom, we'll go up from here. Or, we have 30% more of a stock market drop to expect. Clients call and say, I don't worry about those things, because I know that you're doing the best you can. You're doing what's best for me, given the circumstances, whether that's taking advantage of a market downturn, which people might say, well, what is there to take advantage of? This keeps me up at night, but there's no opportunity. And this is where planning is, I say planning is where rubber meets the road. It's the difference between a successful plan and a not so successful plan. It's taking advantage of all of these opportunities. So that's nice that I sleep well at night, knowing that clients have that comfort, knowing that we're taking care of them.
I wanted to go back a little bit for people listening that may find themselves in a similar situation. So Ben Tobias needed to put a succession plan together, right? You came in and very quickly your ideas were accepted, and you had the space to bring things, and you actually executed on your ideas, and you had success very, very soon. Why was that possible?
My focus when I came here was strictly making sure that I was learning all about the clients. I was listening to the clients. I was looking for opportunity to be creative and add value at every turn. So it wasn't focused on, all right, when am I going to move Ben out of the way and step in? It was more of, I need to show clients that I am able to step into his shoes. And how was I going to do that? Then showing them that I had the skills and maybe I had some value to add. So funny enough, what would happen is I would sit in these meetings just observing. And anytime I had an opportunity to say, well, have we thought about A, B, or C? And clients would look over and say, oh my God, I love that idea. I've never heard of it. How does it work? And so them seeing that there was a new idea, looking a different perspective on something that they had already done or already thought about considering or didn't know how to solve. One of the things that I started doing so that they can start feeling like things were different as soon as I arrived and while Ben was still here is that, meetings were looking differently. They were, organized. We had agenda. Like it just felt like things were slowly changing while Ben was still here. So it just became like a natural progression where clients started getting comfortable just calling me, emailing me. Oh, I'll talk to Nella. So Ben would joke and say, oh, I'm the has-been because they're not calling me. But the beautiful thing, especially when you're thinking about a succession plan, is that it's happening so naturally that the client is making that transition on their own, and they're not forced into that transition. So that by the time we had announced that the succession plan had been fully completed, the feedback was incredible. The feedback was, well, hadn't that already happened? I'm like, no, it just happened. But because they were seeing all the changes, all the positive changes, and that's the thing, positive. Like, I never wanted to make it seem like, well, now we're doing it this way, and I don't care what Ben, thinks. It was more like, hey, this is how we can improve this process. This is how we can give the client a much more, valuable experience, or it was these little tiny changes, still respecting and adhering to the basic foundations and beliefs and values that Ben founded this firm on. And I wouldn't have come if it hadn't been because this firm was built on things that I genuinely believe in, which is doing right by the client first. Like, this is very unique. It's not about us, it is about the client. And through that mentality, we have found success, right? Because now, our clients telling their friends telling their friend, and it just, we have been blessed in so many ways. But that's really a function of what you mentioned, just how much the entire team genuinely cares about, our clients, and making sure that, that they're able to meet their needs, and doing right by them.
And I know that the original succession plan was projected to last like 5 to 7 years, and the fact is that this happened in less than 2 years. So, what was like taking over as a CEO in such a short period of time for you?
I think I felt I wasn't scared. I think it happened quicker than we had originally anticipated, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm not ready, why are we accelerating? It was like, I'm ready, I can do this. Like, this is it. I was born for this. Because my background, and again, this is where you don't realize how much you know until then you realize how much you know. But just the fact that I came in and helping solve all these things for these clients, and just kind of elevating the level of service, I think I started doing all these things that I was coming to my own. So it was great. I think the timing was great. Perhaps, some people say, well, gee, a year and a half. I had really been here a year and a half. Yeah, because I came in 2015, and by 2017, we had essentially completed the entire succession plan. But I didn't feel like it was too soon, like I wasn't ready. I was excited about it because, when you're someone's succession, while you're still there under their shadow, it's hard to kind of put your own, your own footprint on things.
Yes.
So in a way, that moment of completing that succession plan was almost the green light that we can, all right, now let's really do this our way. Let's really kind of take the firm in the direction that we want to take it, so that we can grow and build something that's, I want to call it something that is a legacy. So it would be nice to be able to build something that can pass on to generations to come, because we are working with families. And I think what our clients love a lot is knowing that we're working with them, and we know them, and eventually we'll work with their kids. So kind of having that that relationship continue for generations to come, and knowing that their kids or grandkids are going to be taken care of and serviced with those same set of core values. I think it's magical. And I think if that won't happen if we don't focus on building something that can last beyond even my lifetime.
It's great. I wanted to tell us one thing you're most proud of.
It's hard to maintain culture as you grow and to maintain that personalized feeling that clients get. And I think we're doing a good job because we're hiring for culture fit. We're hiring people who have the right attitudes and the right personalities. So I'm most proud of the fact that we've been able to grow as much as we have grown while still maintaining that kind of small team feel.
Good. So one thing that someone said to you that helped you.
One time I remember I must have gone into the office and I must have looked all anxious about something. And this one attorney comes in and says, Nella, just remember, just forget perfection. Strive for excellence. Every day, just try to be a little bit better try to do something a little bit better than yesterday. Just strive for excellence. That's all you can do. But if you're thinking about perfection, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Thank you, Nella. So we're wrapping up the interview, and I wanted to end with you talking to other fellow CEOs out there listening to this conversation. What would be 2 pieces of advice for them in these challenging times we're going through? From CEO to CEO, what would you advise them to think, do, focus on?
To me, I think people first, Yes, our clients are important, but people first, because I think if you don't have a team that's excited to be part of your company and they trust you and there's loyalty, it's at least in the service industry, it's hard to be able to convey that and have satisfied clients. So I think, happy team means that your clients are serviced better, they're excited about it, and clients feel that energy. That energy is felt. And just like we've had clients say, you make me feel like I'm the only client you have. He goes, how do you do that? And I think, and everybody gets that feedback. And I think it has to do with the fact that, you build a culture that you truly live and breathe every day, and you treat the team like the most prized possession. So I think people first. I think, this way you can build a firm and a practice that can, weather any storm that comes at us. And there have been many storms lately, many storms. We need to be done with the storm.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. This was a blast. Thank you for being here with me, and we'll continue talking off camera now.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Nela.